There comes a moment in life when noise fades, distractions lose their power, and the soul begins to ask deeper questions, not about success alone, not about money or recognition, but about purpose, direction, and meaning. That moment is not accidental. It is an invitation. Many people spend their lives searching outward for answers that can only be found within. They chase validation, approval, and security, hoping something external will bring peace. But true transformation does not begin outside. It begins when the heart becomes still enough to listen. God often speaks in quiet moments, not in chaos. When life slows down, when plans fall apart, when certainty disappears, that is often when spiritual awakening begins. What feels like loss may actually be alignment. What feels like delay may be divine preparation. You were not created by accident. Your life is not random. Every season, even the painful ones, carries purpose. Some seasons teach patience. Others build strength. Some strip away pride while others awaken faith. Nothing is wasted when surrendered. Many people pray for change but resist transformation. They ask for blessing, but avoid obedience. Spiritual growth requires honesty. Honesty about weakness, fear, doubt, and dependency. God does not demand perfection. He desires sincerity. Faith is not pretending everything is fine. Faith is trusting even when it is not. It is choosing belief when evidence is lacking. It is standing firm when emotions are unstable. Faith grows strongest not in comfort, but in pressure. There are moments when prayers feel unanswered and heaven feels silent. Silence does not mean absence. It often means God is working beyond what you can see. Roots grow underground before fruit appears above. Delay is not denial. Spiritual maturity comes when trust replaces control, when surrender replaces anxiety, when peace becomes anchored in God rather than circumstances. This kind of peace does not depend on outcomes. It depends on relationship. Forgiveness is one of the greatest spiritual keys. Holding on to resentment blocks growth. Releasing it frees the soul. Forgiveness does not excuse wrongs. It releases the burden of carrying them. Your past does not disqualify you. Your mistakes do not cancel your future. Grace is greater than failure. Mercy renews purpose. Every day is an opportunity to begin again. True spirituality is not loud. It is consistent. It shows up in integrity, humility, compassion, and obedience. It is reflected in how you treat others, how you respond under pressure, and how you remain faithful when no one is watching. If you feel a stirring in your heart right now, do not ignore it. That stirring is an invitation to grow deeper, trust more fully, and walk with intention. Life changes when faith becomes active, surrender becomes daily, and trust becomes unshakable. This is not just a message, it is a call to rise above fear, to walk in purpose, and to live anchored in faith. When the heart aligns with truth, life begins to change from the inside out. Real and lasting change in life never begins with money, people, position, or circumstances. It begins inside the heart. Many people wait for life to improve before they feel peace, joy, or confidence. But spiritual truth works in the opposite direction. When the heart changes, life follows. The heart is the control center of thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and decisions. What lives there quietly shapes everything a person experiences openly. That is why two people can face the same situation, yet one rises while the other collapses. The difference is not the situation, but the inner condition. The heart is where faith is either planted or poisoned. If the heart is filled with fear, bitterness, doubt, and resentment, no external success can bring lasting satisfaction. Even answered prayers will feel empty. But when the heart is filled with trust, gratitude, and spiritual understanding, even difficult seasons cannot destroy inner peace. True spiritual growth is not about learning new words to say or copying religious behavior. It is about allowing the inner world to be renewed. When the heart aligns with truth, the mind follows, the words change, and actions begin to reflect a higher life. Many people try to change their lives by forcing discipline without healing the heart. They make promises, set goals, and push themselves, yet keep falling back into the same patterns. This happens because behavior flows from belief. If deep inside a person believes they are unworthy, unlucky, forgotten, or limited, no amount of external motivation will last. The heart must first accept a new identity. When someone begins to see themselves as chosen, guided, forgiven, and purposeful, their behavior naturally shifts without strain. The heart also determines how a person hears God. When the heart is crowded with noise, guilt, or disappointment, divine direction feels silent. But when the heart becomes still, humble, and receptive, guidance becomes clear. Many think God is distant, when in reality the heart is distracted. Spiritual clarity is not found by running faster, but by going deeper inward. When the heart softens, wisdom rises, decisions become calmer, patience increases, and anxiety loses its grip. Inner change requires honesty. A transformed heart does not pretend everything is fine. It acknowledges pain, confusion, and weakness without shame. Pretending delays healing, but honesty opens the door to renewal. When a person stops hiding their inner struggles and allows truth to enter, strength begins to grow where weakness once lived. Spiritual strength is not the absence of struggle. It is the courage to face it without losing faith. The heart is also where gratitude is born. Gratitude is not a reaction to perfect conditions. It is a choice that reshapes perception. When gratitude fills the heart, even small blessings feel significant and burdens feel lighter. A grateful heart attracts peace because it shifts focus from what is missing to what is already present. Over time, gratitude trains the heart to trust, and trust becomes the foundation for greater breakthroughs. Unhealed wounds in the heart can silently block progress. Past disappointments, betrayals, and failures can harden the heart, making it resistant to hope. A guarded heart may feel safe, but it also limits growth. Healing requires forgiveness, not because others deserve it, but because the heart deserves freedom. When forgiveness is released, emotional weight lifts, and energy once trapped in pain becomes available for purpose. As the heart changes, desires also change. What once seemed important loses its power, and what truly matters becomes clear. This inner shift is evidence of spiritual maturity. It is not about becoming perfect, but about becoming aligned. When alignment happens, peace no longer depends on outcomes, and confidence no longer depends on approval. True change is quiet at first. It begins invisibly, like a seed underground. Others may not notice immediately, but consistency reveals transformation over time. A changed heart speaks differently, responds differently, and walks with calm authority. This is the foundation of a life that cannot be shaken easily. When the heart is aligned with truth, life begins to align as well. Doors open naturally, relationships improve, and even challenges carry meaning. The world may still be uncertain, but the inner world becomes stable. That stability is the greatest breakthrough anyone can experience because everything else flows from it. Inner transformation is the foundation of every lasting change. Life does not shift first on the outside, it shifts within. Many people spend years trying to rearrange circumstances, relationships, or opportunities, yet remain frustrated because the inner life has not been addressed. A life-changing spiritual message always begins by turning attention inward, not to condemn, but to awaken awareness. What you believe How you think and what you agree with internally eventually shape everything you experience externally. The inner world is where direction is decided. Thoughts quietly form expectations. Expectations influence decisions, and decisions shape destiny. When thinking remains unchanged, behavior follows old patterns even when intentions are good. Spiritual growth invites a renewal of the mind, a realignment of thoughts with truth rather than fear, limitation, or past failure. This renewal is not instant, but it is intentional. It requires honesty about what has been ruling the heart. Many struggles are not rooted in lack of ability, but in inner conflict. People desire progress while still believing they are unworthy of it. They pray for breakthrough while quietly expecting disappointment. Inner alignment resolves this conflict. When belief and desire agree, movement becomes natural. Faith begins to operate not as wishful thinking, but as confident expectation. Inner transformation also reshapes identity. People often define themselves by mistakes, labels, or past seasons. A spiritual awakening challenges these definitions. It reminds the heart that identity is not built on failure or success, but on purpose. When identity shifts, behavior follows. People stop striving to prove worth and begin living from it. Fear often resists inner change. Old thinking feels familiar, even when it is limiting. Letting go of it can feel like losing control. Yet spiritual growth requires surrender of false security. Trust replaces control. Peace replaces anxiety. This does not eliminate challenges, but it changes how they are faced. Problems become obstacles to overcome, not evidence of defeat. Inner transformation also affects perception. The same situation can feel threatening or purposeful depending on mindset. A renewed mind sees opportunity where fear once saw risk. It sees growth where frustration once dominated. This shift does not deny reality. It reframes it. Reality remains, but interpretation changes, and interpretation influences response. Consistency matters in inner work. One moment of inspiration is not enough to sustain transformation. Daily reflection, intentional thought, and disciplined focus strengthen alignment. This is not about perfection, but persistence. Progress happens when truth is returned to repeatedly until it becomes natural. Inner alignment brings clarity. Decisions become less reactive and more intentional. Emotions become signals rather than dictators. Peace increases because the inner life is no longer divided. Direction becomes clearer because noise has been reduced. Spiritual maturity is often quiet, not dramatic. It is marked by steadiness rather than intensity. Transformation within also improves relationships. When inner insecurity decreases, comparison fades. When fear is addressed, defensiveness softens. When identity is secure, generosity increases. The inner state always spills outward. A healed perspective produces healthier connection. There is also responsibility in inner change. Awareness brings accountability. Once truth is recognized, ignoring it becomes a choice. Growth requires cooperation. Spiritual messages awaken potential, but action activates it. The heart must participate willingly. Inner transformation is not self-centered, it is purpose-centered. It prepares individuals to serve effectively. A grounded inner life supports resilience, compassion, and wisdom. Without this foundation, success can feel empty and service can become exhausting. True change is sustainable only when it is rooted inside. External motivation fades, but inner conviction remains. When values are internalized, discipline becomes easier. When truth is embraced internally, obedience feels less forced. The inner life becomes a source of strength rather than struggle. A life-changing spiritual message does not promise instant results. It offers a process that leads to lasting fruit. Inner transformation may be unseen at first, but its impact is undeniable. Over time, thoughts align, decisions strengthen, and life begins to reflect what was first established within. This inner work is sacred. It is where healing begins, faith deepens, and purpose clarifies. Everything that follows flows from this place. True transformation begins when spiritual insight moves beyond inspiration and becomes daily practice. Hearing a powerful message can awaken the heart, but lasting change happens only when truth is applied consistently in ordinary life. Spiritual growth is not measured by how deeply a message moves emotions in a moment, but by how faithfully it shapes decisions over time. Many people encounter spiritual truth and feel momentary conviction, clarity, or hope. These moments are important, but they are only the beginning. If insight remains intellectual or emotional, it fades. Life change occurs when beliefs influence behavior, when values guide choices, and when faith becomes visible through action. Spiritual truth is meant to be lived, not merely admired. Daily application requires intentionality. It means waking each day with awareness, asking how spiritual principles will influence thoughts, words, and responses. Small decisions reveal whether a message has taken root. Patience during frustration, integrity when compromise is easy, kindness when irritation is justified. These moments reflect internal alignment more than any spoken affirmation. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. A single emotional experience cannot replace steady practice. Growth often feels quiet and gradual rather than dramatic. Over time, repeated alignment reshapes habits, attitudes, and perspective. This process builds character rather than dependence on emotion. Faith matures through repetition, not excitement. Living the message also requires accountability. Self-reflection helps identify gaps between belief and behavior. This is not condemnation, it is awareness. Honest reflection allows adjustment. Growth depends on recognizing where alignment is missing and choosing correction without shame. Spiritual maturity includes humility, the willingness to learn and change. Challenges test application. It is easy to live spiritual principles when circumstances are favorable. Difficulty reveals whether conviction is genuine. Pressure exposes priorities. When responses remain aligned during stress, faith becomes resilient. These moments refine belief, proving that it is rooted deeper than convenience. Spiritual truth also influences relationships. How others are treated reflects internal beliefs. Compassion, forgiveness, and patience demonstrate applied faith. Words spoken during disagreement reveal maturity. Relationships become opportunities to practice truth rather than merely discuss it. Consistent application strengthens credibility and influence. Obedience plays a central role in transformation. Obedience is not blind compliance, it is trust expressed through action. It often requires moving forward without complete understanding. Growth accelerates when action follows conviction. Delay weakens momentum. Each act of obedience strengthens confidence and clarity. Discipline supports application. Routine practices, reflection, prayer, learning, service create structure for growth. These habits protect alignment during emotional fluctuation. Discipline does not eliminate struggle, but it sustains direction. Over time, discipline turns effort into identity. Living spiritual truth also reshapes perspective. Challenges are interpreted differently. Instead of viewing obstacles as interruptions, they become opportunities for growth. This perspective reduces frustration and increases resilience. Life is no longer divided into spiritual and ordinary moments. Everything becomes meaningful. Failure does not negate application. It reveals the need for grace. Mistakes are part of growth. What matters is response, whether correction follows failure. Persistence matters more than perfection. Returning to alignment strengthens resolve and humility. When spiritual truth is lived consistently, transformation becomes visible. Peace replaces anxiety. Purpose clarifies direction. Integrity stabilizes identity. This change is not forced. It emerges naturally from alignment. Others may notice before the individual does. Ultimately, a life-changing spiritual message fulfills its purpose when it reshapes daily living. Truth becomes character, belief becomes behavior, faith becomes action. Transformation is no longer something hoped for. It becomes something lived, one decision at a time. At the heart of this message is a simple but powerful truth. Real spiritual change begins within. When the heart is aligned, the mind renewed, and trust placed beyond circumstances, life begins to shift in ways that cannot be explained by effort alone. Growth does not happen overnight, but every sincere step taken in faith matters. Even in silence, even in waiting, something is being shaped. When you choose truth over fear, obedience over comfort, and trust over control, transformation follows naturally. This message is not just meant to be heard, it is meant to be lived. And as it is lived out daily, it becomes clear that nothing was wasted, nothing was accidental, and every moment was leading toward deeper purpose, stronger faith, and lasting change.